So now we can actually set the gravity parent dynamically. I have this test scene set up, and this rocket is currently orbiting this planet, or like moon, and this moon is orbiting this planet, which is like the Earth maybe, and then we have the sun over there. Not to scale, but pretty nice test scene. So this is pretty stable there. I can make an orbit. Let me restart this. And now I'm gonna try to move to the other planet, or go from the moon to the planet down here. So I'm actually already in a in an orbit. Okay, that's easier than I anticipated. Oh, I messed it up. That's fine. So let's speed up time a bit. Oh, that's way too much. It's fine. Retrograde, rotating up, and oh no, go up. So I'm actually speeding up time at the same time here. There we go. Okay, we have an orbit. And now we're in a stable orbit around Earth, right? I'll look at this planet now. It's orbiting, this moon is orbiting the Earth. But I noticed once it gets closer to the sun, it changes by itself because the pull from the sun is gonna be stronger at that point. So the sun just took the moon from the Earth. And I believe this is now a stable setup, but they're gonna collide at some point. But yeah, pretty funny test scene. Let's say there are only two shapes in the whole universe. They can theoretically orbit each other at an infinite distance. I'm afraid that would complicate logic a lot, so I wanna control that. So I have implemented an SOI system, Sphere of Influence, inspired by KSP, and this is one of the checks to determine if a shape is orbiting another shape, to see if the apoapsis is inside the SOI. If it's not, it's considered not orbiting anymore. But the planet is still the rocket's gravitational parent. So if we speed up time here, we can see it's actually being curved still by this planet. But then as it leaves, we can see it now lost its parent. So now it's gonna drift straight. Forever. So I think that's a pretty good solution. Do when two objects collide. Initially, I was gonna make them merge, which works great for an asteroid crashing into a planet. So the asteroid's mass would be added to the planet's mass, making it heavier. But then what if two rockets collide? Then one rocket would get heavier and the other one would disappear. Doesn't really make sense. So I've decided to simply delete an object if it accelerates too quickly with the impact. So now you can see I landed softly and everything's fine. But if I go up and crash hard, it deletes the rocket and it changed my view to the planet. I think that works great. And like I said, this is generalized now. So if you take this moon, let it get to the left of this planet because it's pointing up, and then I can apply thrust to this moon, and then we let this crash into the planet. And now this is like the same as with the rocket landing on the moon, since everything has to be generalized. And I wonder if the planet is gonna survive or not. It did. Alright. But if the moon would have been a bit bigger, then both shapes would have been deleted. And yeah, I'm planning to add like nice explosions and stuff, but I think this is the way it has to be. I've got a pretty chaotic test scene set up here. You can see the frames are around 100, and let's double the simulation speed a few times, and you can see this is gonna drop. These shapes are gonna collide with this planet and disappear. You're gonna get a few more frames because of that. But let's let this stabilize somewhat. We got a lot of moving objects. But anyway, so now I want to show you. Let's see, the frames are around 70. If I enable gravity teleport, you can see it's going to be perfectly stable at 200. So now I've turned off the physics engine, and we're no longer stepping. We are now instead teleporting, and we are calculating where each object should be based on its existing orbit. And if there's no collision, then that should match up exactly the same as when we're stepping realistically. But I think this is really cool. My orbit drawing is still very unoptimized, so FPS are dropping, but I can increase the time scale like as much as we want now. And I think this has really nice potential. And I'm sure it's going to be useful somehow. And then can turn it off at any point and let things collide again. Really nice. I have somewhat of a plan in place. So the first milestone would be these three things. An escape menu. There you can save and load your worlds. Then also a context menu. So when you right click items or shapes, objects, you can delete them, or you can create new rockets that way, just to play around with the world. Then we have the modules, and here I'm gonna try to support compound shapes, like putting shapes together and then that's gonna create the new center of mass, a new total mass, and like make it act like a single shape. But then it's still made up of multiple shapes, so there has to be an API to look at the subshapes and stuff like that. And then I also want to get modules implemented. A module would be like a thruster, which is like a shape, but it has a special function, which is creating thrust. Then there would be like a gyroscope, which lets you rotate, and yeah, stuff like that. A fuel tank. We have resources is the third step. A resource could be like iron ore, and then a module, like I said before, could be a miner as well. So you're mining iron ore, and then that goes into a container, and then you're going to be able to use those resources to build modules. And then also, if modules are connected, then you can transfer resources between them. And then, like when a container fills up with resources, it's going to get heavier. So if you want to haul items around, you're going to have to consume more fuel. And then we have some more goals without any milestones that I've just added here. Not sure in what order. But yeah, that's a vague